In today's video, we're going to look at 3 football betting strategies that make money in 2023. Okay, let's start off with strategy number 1, and strategy number 1 is lay the draw. And I know what you'll be thinking, lay the draw has been around since the dawn of Betfair. It's probably the first strategy that you ever came across when you looked at trading on football and making money from Betfair. So does it actually still work? Surprisingly, yes, it does still work. Probably like yourself, I thought for a long time that lay the draw was a little bit oversold and that there was no way that a strategy that was working 10, 15 years ago would still be working in today's markets. However, I've been running 2 lay the draw strategies this year and they've both been very, very profitable. Alright, so the first example I will show you is a strategy that I've been running this year, and it's a straight up lay the draw strategy with no exit. So I lay the draw at the beginning of the game and I leave it to run as a straight up bet. It's based on a specific league and specific odds ranges, but I'll bring up the graph now and you can see that I've made a profit of £3,509. This is using £50 stakes, and I'm not laying at odds of higher than 3.5, and that's after 220 selections. The second system that I want to show you is laying the halftime draw. So this again, it's a straight up lay bet. I'm not exiting after a goal at any point in the game. I'm just waiting for it to reach halftime and then the bet either wins or it loses. So I'll just bring up the graph for this one, and you can see on this one I've had 275 selections and a profit of £3,061 has been made to £50 stakes. And again, this is based on odds ranges. This is how I've found these selections. Alright, so those are the 2 lay the draw strategies that I use, and they've both been profitable, and I know many other people that use lay the draw in 2023 and are still making money from it. And there's several different approaches. You don't have to just do straight up lay the draw and then leave it to run as a bet. You can kind of lay the draw in the first half after 15 minutes if you want to. You can lay the full-time draw after 60 minutes, 70 minutes. You know, you can really take several different approaches. Some people lay the draw from the start of the game and then exit after 70 minutes. You know, there's so many ways that you can look at playing lay the draw that it's still a very good system and it's still well worth looking at. And don't be like I was for many years and kind of just think that, all right, it's an old strategy that's not really relevant today. It's still an excellent strategy to use. The second strategy that I want to talk about is pre-match trading. So with pre-match trading, we're either backing and laying a selection before the start of a game, or we're laying and then backing it before the start of a game in order to lock in a profit or take a loss or break even. Okay, so the first way to trade pre-match effectively is using team information. So a good example of that would be you have Real Madrid versus Manchester City tonight, and in this game, if Haaland or De Bruyne was to pick up an injury, let's say they got stretchered off or they had to be taken off, that's going to affect Man City's odds for their game on Sunday against Everton, because obviously if you're missing either of those players who are key to Man City's chances of winning the game, that's going to cause the odds to rise. So this is one very good way of trading, is just to look at the midweek markets and look at how that could change the next games coming up at the weekend. Another way to make good pre-match trades is by looking at player suspensions. So for example, Casemiro is a key player for Man United, and this season he's picked up his fair share of yellow cards and also red cards. So if Man United are playing midweek again, let's say they're playing on a Monday and then they have a game on a Saturday, and you know that in this game, if Casemiro is going to pick up another yellow card, he's going to be suspended for the next game, then in turn that's going to again make Man United's odds rise. So if you are aware of that and then you see in the game Casemiro makes a bad challenge, you can jump on to the next market at the weekend, lay Manchester United and pick up a nice profit. Something else to consider, especially at the end of the season, is incentives to win. So, you know, when it gets to the end of the season and there aren't that many games left, some teams are playing for absolutely nothing. Some teams are playing to avoid relegation. Some teams are playing to get promotion or win a league. And this can change very quickly. So you can have a midweek game where a team wins and now suddenly they're safe. So their odds for their game on Saturday may drift quite a lot as they're playing a team that really needs to win. So this is something to keep an eye on, and it can be a very easy way to make some money from pre-match trading. Lastly, you can look at teams' performance. So we have a really good example of that, and that is yesterday's game. We had Brighton versus Everton, and Brighton were expected to win this game. They were heavy favourites, and they ended up getting absolutely battered by Everton. They were losing 3-0 at half-time, and they ended up losing 5-1. So this had a knock-on effect for the next game, as Brighton are playing Arsenal, and because of their poor performance and poor result, Arsenal's odds came in, and Brighton's odds have drifted. Another way to effectively do pre-match trading is to look at market trends and patterns. So especially in the lower leagues, it tends to get a little bit more unnoticed, but there are certain teams that seem to get consistently backed in, week out, and there are other teams that will be consistently laid and seem to be overvalued by the market. So if you can take note of these teams, then this is another good way to make some money pre-match trading. The last strategy I want to talk about is backing a first half goal after the 10-minute mark. I really like backing selections in the first half market, as I don't think it's as efficient as the match odds market. It attracts a decent amount of liquidity, but not a crazy amount, and it doesn't get the attention that the bigger markets like match odds and over under 2.5 goals, for example, do, which in turn means it's a bit easier to beat and it's easier to profit from. Alright, so I'll just bring up a graph of the system that I've been using in the first half goals market. So you can see here that from 95 selections, I made a profit of £2,106, and that's using £120 stakes, and I'm waiting until the odds reach 1.7 in the first half goals market. So when it comes to finding games which are good for a first half goal, you can use a site such as Soccerstatscom, who do a really good breakdown of when teams score goals. So you can look at how many goals they score in the first half compared to the second half. You can look at the timings of the goals. So the first 15 minutes, how many goals do they score? 15 to 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. And this can give you a really good example of when a team is likely to score a goal. And from this, then you can, use that knowledge and use some live feed from a site like Bet365, watch the game, see what's going on. Does it look like it's likely that there's going to be a first half goal? Is there a good tempo? Are players creating space? Are they finding the ability to get balls into the box? So there's plenty of ways to look at it. And there's also Understat as well, which is a really good website, which will give you XG figures. Again, you can break that down and look at XG figures in the first half. Overall, we have 3 strategies there that are making money in the football betting markets in 2023, and I do think you can replicate these strategies to make money for yourself. Obviously, I've not given you the exact details of all my strategies, with leagues and teams and exactly how I do it, and that's because it takes a lot of time to develop these strategies. I have to test them myself and find the data, and when you find an edge, it can be a little bit foolish sometimes to give away exactly how you're doing everything. However, if you do put in the time yourself, if you do use the sites that I've talked about, such as Soccerstats and Understat, and you delve into the data a little bit, you will be able to make money using these strategies, and they're a very solid foundation for starting to make money from football betting and trading. If you do want to learn more about these strategies, I'll add a link here to the lay the draw strategy, and I'll add another link here to the pre-match trading strategy. And both of these videos go much more in depth into the strategies, and maybe can give you some other ideas on how to approach them and make money.